systematics. It is the study of different kinds of organisms, their diversity and their relationship. In family, all the genera that share few similar features are put under the families. If you're categorizing plants, it should be division. Instead of phylum, you have to write it as division. A group of species which show more characters in common, they are clubbed together to form a genus. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to today's session on the chapter 1, that is the living world. I'm Dr. Divya, Biology faculty, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Mysuru, Temple of Excellence. So in the previous session of this particular chapter, we had studied how the organisms are named. That is, we had especially concentrated on the binomial nomenclature. What are the different rules that are set by the International Council for Botanical Nomenclature and the International Council for Zoological Nomenclature. So, how the scientific name should be given to a plant or an animal, how it should be written, all that we had seen. So, after naming a plant or an animal, they are grouped into different categories. So, in today's session, we shall see how the different plants or the animals are grouped into different categories based on their characteristic features, especially the external morphology. So moving to, we shall study the classification of the organisms, that is how they are classified. So classification is nothing but grouping the organisms into different categories based on what? Based on the characters that are visible to the naked eye. So, the best example is when you look at a plant, you can say it is a plant. When you look at an elephant, you can say it is an elephant. How are you able to, it is an animal, right? How are you able to identify it? It is based on the observable characters. That is, those characters that show similarities. So, looking at a plant, you can say this is a plant. Looking at an animal, you can say this is an animal. Again, under plants, by looking at a rose plant, you can say it is a rose plant. By looking at a hibiscus, you can say it is a hibiscus plant. Again, you categorize by based on, in plants itself, based on the observable characters, that is the characters which you can see, you categorize them again. It is the same in the case of animals. When you see an elephant, you will say that is an elephant, it is an animal. And the best example is tiger. If you see tiger and lion, they belong to the same family, that is Panthera. But when you see a tiger, you say it is a tiger. When you see a lion, you say that is a lion. Will you call a lion as a tiger? No, you call a lion as a lion. Why? Because based on the characters that you are seeing in that particular animal. So therefore, grouping the organisms into different categories based on the observable characters which are showing similarities is called as classification. So classification or categorization is done in order to make the study of organisms very, very easy or make it convenient. So that particular categorization is called as taxa. So what is taxa? Whenever you see an organism, you can say that is a plant, that is an animal. That in that way you can categorize between a plant and an animal. That is nothing but taxa. So after the process of classification of an organism into different taxa, you call it as taxonomy. So you categorize them in different taxa or in different ranks. So all that together is called as taxonomy. So taxonomy is nothing but the process of classification, of an organism into different taxa. Taxa means levels. And normie is to name. Nominee, you're naming somebody. So that is normie. So taxa is different groups or different classes, and nomy is to name. So taxonomy is nothing but the process of classification of organisms based on their taxa or based on their observable characters. So taxonomy actually follows some basic rules. So what are the basic rules? One is characterization. You look at an organism, you characterize them based on the external characters and you say this is a plant, this is an animal. After characterization, now you know it is a plant and an animal. So in an animal, you will see a dog and a cat. Now you know this is a dog and this is a cat. So based on the characters, again you're identifying them. You're identifying them as a cat and a dog separately based on the characters. Next, you'll classify them. Again, you'll classify them. Seeing the characters, you will classify. Cat, which type of species of cat, which type of species of dog, and you name them, nomenclature. So, for example, if it is a dog, under dog, you can say it is a Pomeranian, it is a Alsatian, it is a bulldog. You can categorize. So these are the basic processes of classification. The final thing is nomenclature. As I told you, you will name them. That is a Alsatian, that is a Doberman, that like that. You will name them. That is nothing but nomenclature. So taxonomy follows the basic process such as characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature. So there is a systematic that has to be followed for the classification of an organism. So who is the first person to give this particular taxonomy or classification? It is nothing but Carolus Linnaeus. So systematics is nothing but the study of different kinds of organisms, their diversity and the relationship between them. So if you have to classify an organism or if you have to categorize an organism, first you should study about that particular organism. You should know about the different organisms, how many different types, again in that organism, how many different species or different types are there, and also you should know what is the relationship between each different types of species in that particular organism. So all these is nothing but systematics. So systematics, it is the study of different kinds of organisms, their diversity and their relationship. So I told you, whenever a naming or a classification or something is done in taxonomy, always it is in Latin. So the systema also came from the Latin word. Why it is Latin? Again, systematics is something related to Linnaeus, because Carolus Linnaeus, he was the first person to introduce the binomial nomenclature, and also he was the first person to introduce the taxonomic classification or the hierarchy in taxonomy. So therefore the entire credit goes to Carolus Linnaeus. He is the scientist behind it. And Carolus Linnaeus, how did he make the people understand his work? How did he make the people know that we have to classify the organisms, we have to give binomial or scientific name to the organisms? He made all his work reach people through a book called as Systema Naturae. So he made it reach people through his book called as Systema Naturae, where systema means systema is a Latin word. Systema means classification and natural means the natural organism. So classification of the organism, that is Systema Naturae. So this book was published by Linnaeus. So Linnaeus, he was the first person to introduce the taxonomic classification, or he was the first person to introduce systematics, and all his work was published in the book Systema Naturae. So we shall see, so far we had discussed how classification should be done for so and so reason. But what are the different types of classifications, or what are the different types of categories and hierarchy that is followed in classifying or naming an organism? We shall see. So classification, it actually involves hierarchy. So hierarchy means different positions. So hierarchy, say for example, in a company you have a hierarchy, or I'll just take, for easy understanding, I'll take the example of a school. So in a school you have different hierarchy. Who is the first? The management. After the management comes the principal. After the principal comes the head of the department. After the head of the department comes the teacher. After the teacher comes the student. So there is a different hierarchy there, right? And each one's work is different there. So that is nothing but hierarchy. Even in classification of plants also, there is a array or different types of hierarchy that is present. So classification, it usually involves hierarchy, and each step in the hierarchy, it represents a rank. So a rank is given. Say for example, here again in a school, the rank is given like principal, that is one particular rank. After the principal comes the head of the department, that is a particular rank. Then comes the teacher, the one particular rank. Then comes the student, one more set of rank. So these different ranks, each step represents a rank. The same way here also, each step, this is a rank. Each species, it is a rank. Genus is a rank. Family, it is a rank. Order, rank. One rank is given. One name is given to each of these in this particular hierarchy. So each step represents a rank or a category. It represents a rank or a category. And overall, the taxonomic arrangement and overall, this particular overall taxonomic arrangement is called as taxonomic categories. It is called taxonomic categories. Taxonomic category. So overall taxonomic arrangement is called as taxonomic category, and a taxonomic category together forms taxonomic hierarchy. So all these different taxonomic categories, they form the hierarchy. You can see kingdom, it is very vast. It is vast. That is why it holds the highest position, the kingdom, because kingdom is very vast. In the kingdom, you have the phylum, which is bit precise than the phylum, wherein you have the different phylum, Animalia, you have the Plantae. Then comes the class. After the class, again a more precise one, the order, then again the family, the genus and the species. That is how taxonomic hierarchy is done. And each category that is there, each category you can call it as a unit. So each category is called as a unit, and each unit, as you have studied, it is called as a rank, and each rank is called as a taxon, and more than one taxon is called as a taxa. So more than one taxon, that is species and genus together, it is more than one taxon. You can call it as a taxa. So this is about the taxonomic categories, wherein you have the taxonomic categories in different hierarchies such as the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus and species. So accordingly, you have to write the classification of the organism as well. So we have taken a peek into the different categories, taxonomic categories, wherein we came to know that the taxonomic category consists of the kingdom, the phylum, the class, order, genus and the species, right? So next, we'll study each of these categories to understand even better. We'll study them one by one. So first, we shall study about the kingdom. So kingdom, it is the highest level of classification. Why? Because it is very vast. In the kingdom, you have the Animalia and the Planta. So there again you will divide. So therefore, kingdom is very vast. So kingdom gets divided into two different phyla. So which is very vast? Kingdom is very vast. So kingdom, it is the highest level of classification, and the organisms belonging to various phyla, they are put under the kingdom. As I told you, Animalia, Plantae, they are together grouped under kingdom. And next, best example is all animals of various phyla belonging to Animalia. They belong to kingdom Animalia. So different animals, all animals of various phyla belongs to kingdom Animalia. So under kingdom, you have kingdom Animalia, you have kingdom Plantae. So all plants of various phyla belong to Plantae. So these are the two kingdoms. They are very vast. And as the categorization progresses, the population decreases. The number of animals or the groups of species that is there, they keep on decreasing. Therefore, kingdom is the highest level of classification. After moving on to kingdom, we have the phylum or the division. So phylum is for animals. If you need to categorize animals, you can call it as phylum. If you need to categorize plants, you can call it as division. So this phylum or division, it is more specific than kingdom. So in kingdom, we know they are animals and there are plants, right? Animalia, plantae. So to explain phyla, I will take the example of Animalia, kingdom Animalia. So this phylum or division, it is more specific than kingdom, and if kingdom is Animalia, then the phylum actually consists of different classes of animals. So what happens here is, first we have the kingdom. What is a kingdom? It is Animalia. Then we have the phylum. Phylum. Then comes the class. So phylum, why am I writing phylum? Because I am categorizing animals here. If you are categorizing plants, it should be division. Instead of phylum, you have to write it as division. So kingdom Animalia. So in this Animalia, animals, we know that there are reptiles, there are mammals, there are birds, that is aves, then we have insects, all that are there. Then also we have amphibians, all that we know. Class is more precise or more, specific than phylum. But in phylum, we know we should see about the chordate. That is whether they have a backbone or not. Chordates and non-chordates. So under chordates, we'll have the phyla, reptiles, amphibians and all that. So what happens here is we have chordata. So those animals which are chordates and non-chordates. So again you have to classify. What are in Animalia, we have two categories, that is phyla. One is chordate, having the notochord, that is the backbone and the neural system, and the other which does not have the backbone or the neural system. The best example is the insects. You cannot put insects under chordata, but insects come under Animalia. I hope you're clear now. Insects, they come under Animalia. They belong to animals, but they don't come under chordata. So therefore again phylum, they come under non-chordata. So that is how they divide. And class, they can either be, if it is chordata, it can be reptiles, then it can be mammals. All these comes under chordata. So this is how the classification occurs. So if kingdom is Animalia, then phylum, it usually consists of, the phylum depends on what the class of animals is. Say for example, if they are reptiles and mammals, then the phylum will be chordata, otherwise it will be non-chordata. So phylum chordata, if they have notochord and if they have a dorsal neural system, then you can put it under the phylum chordata. So this is how phylum or division is more specific than the kingdom. We have discussed about phylum. So let's discuss about the class next. After class, we have order. So first we went with kingdom. Then we went with phylum or division, if it is plants, phylum or division. Then we are going with class. Class, it is more specific than phylum, or class, it is more specific than order, we can see. So whatever comes under order, all that are put under class. Say for example, under order, we have, so kingdom is, example, kingdom is Animalia. Phylum or division, I told you. Based on the class, you will decide the phylum or division. So I am talking about mammals and reptiles. So now I'll talk about mammals. So mammals. Based on the class, say for example, the class is mammals. Under animals, I'm talking about only the mammals. So under which division they will be? They have backbone and they have a neural system, right? Mammals, these monkeys, human beings, then elephants, all those, tiger, all those things. They have a neural system and they also have a backbone, right? So this will be chordata. Chordata means those which have a dorsal neural system and those which have a chordate, that is backbone. So chordata. Now, how will I decide the class? Based on the order. So what will be here? I can write it as gibbon, I can write it as monkey, because all these comes under what is that? Even primates, all the primate groups, I can write it under this. Even humans also I can write, because we are also mammals. We also have a neural system, and we have the backbone, and we also come under animals, right? So here I can write, based on that, I can write it as, maybe I can write monkey, then I can write gorilla. It is more precise than the class now. So under mammals, I know they may be monkey, they may be gorilla, or they may be gibbon, anything belonging to order Primata. So here, related orders. So class, all the related orders, so are grouped under the class. So what is the order here? The order is nothing but, so they placed, all these will be placed under mammals. So what will the order be? The order will be Primata. All these are primates. So I told you it depends on the animals that I am mentioning here. So if it is monkey, gorilla and all that, they are primates. So the order will be primates. And these primates are mammals. And these mammals, they have the notochord and the neural system. And these are nothing but animals. So that is how the classification of the categorization takes place. So related orders are placed under class. So these all are related, right? Monkey, gorilla, gibbon, chimpanzee, orangutan, all these are related. So since they are related, they are placed under the primates, order primates. So next, moving on to the order. So order, it is more specific rank than the class. So first we had kingdom. Then we talked about phylum or division. Then came the class. Then comes the order. So what did we talk? Kingdom was Animalia. Phylum, Chordata. Then class, it is primates. Order is more specific than the class. So here the families, they are assembled based on their characters. So here primates. So primates, the order can be Hominidae. Hominidae. Or I'll take the example of floral characters. So we'll talk about plants. So say for example plant, again kingdom, it is Plantae. Kingdom Plantae. Then we have the phylum. So the phylum will be Angiospermae. Those are the flowering plants. In plants, if I consider the flowering plants, it will be angiosperms. Angiosperms. Then phylum, then class, then we have order, then we'll have rank. Say for example, when it comes to order, say I need to decide the rank based on the floral characters. The floral characters of Convoluceae. These are the families, that is Convolulaceae, Solanaceae. So all these you have seen, brinjal, tomato and all that, right? They all come under one family, that is Solanaceae family. So you should decide based on how they look. So if you see the flower of brinjal, they are 5 petals and the petals are fused. The leaf, they have hair, velvet-like, it is velvet-like. So that is enough to place them under one particular family. So what happens here is rank, it will be more specific than the class. So here what happens is, whatever families are there, all these families, based on that it will be put in the rank. That is polymonial. So they put, say for example, instead of order here, it will be polymonials in the case of plants. So the rank will be their family, that is order, family, rank or family, it will be Solanaceae. If I take the example of brinjal, tomato and all that, Solanaceae. So that is how it is classified. So what happens here is, all the family, say for example we have cat and dog, Canidae and Felidae. Canines, the dogs, are put under Canidae. Felines, they are put under Felidae. So like that, it is categorized based on the characteristics, based on the external or visual characters that we can see. So here, order, it is polynomials. So how was the order decided? Based on the family. So family is Solanaceae. Under Solanaceae, we have tomato, brinjal, chili, all that comes under Solanaceae. They are placed under polynomials. So that is how it is categorized. So order, say for example, based on the floral characters, the plants like Convolvulaceae, Solanaceae are included in order polynomials. Just like that, how I told you, order Hominidae. So based on family. So what family belong to different animals like these primates, they belong to a particular family. So based on all those family together will be put under hominidae. So in this hominidae, we human beings come, the prime, that is the gorilla, chimpanzee, all these comes under the hominidae. Just like that, the same for the plant. So this is about order. So after order comes the family. So after we had kingdom, phylum or division, then we had class, then we had order. After order comes the family. So in family, all the genera that share few similar features are put under the family. Say for example, I said families in the order carnivores. So what, for example, if it is animals, we have family Carnivora. Carnivora. Or sorry, we have order. Say for example, we have order Carnivora. So families in the order Carnivora, you can put them as the family can be Candidae. Candidae means dogs. All those dog species come under the family Candidae. And what are these dog species? They are carnivorous, right? They are carnivorous, or you can say they are also omnivorous as well. So they are carnivorous, they are put under Carnivora. Just like that, Felidae. So cats, they come under the family Felidae, but they are all carnivorous. That is why they are put under the order Carnivora. So that is how the classification is done. So order or family, it is more precise than the genera. So genera, Candidae, is put based on different genera, the family is categorized. So that is how, example, families in the order carnivore, they include Candidae and Felidae. So the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, and next comes the genera. So whatever genera are there, those are grouped together based on the external morphological characters, and they are put under the family, either Candidae or either Candidae or either Felidae, or if it comes to plants, you can put it under Solanaceae or you can put it under Convolvulaceae. It's like that. The categorization is done. After the family, it comes to genus. So we have kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus, and then comes the species. So all the species that look similar, morphologically similar, are put under the genus. So a group of species which show more characters in common, they are clubbed together to form a genus. Example, potato and brinjal, they are two different species. Say for example, potato and brinjal, they belong to the family Solanaceae. They belong to the family Solanaceae. But to look at them, both are different. Maybe the flower is same, the plant looks almost same. Potato also have hairy texture, brinjal will also have hairy texture. All that is correct. Okay, but when you look at them, they are completely different, right? So the genus will be Solanum itself. Genus will be Solanum. Potato and brinjal are two different genus belonging to Solanum. So, based on the species, you put them under Solanum. So, next moving on to species. So, species, it is the lowest level of taxonomic hierarchy because here it is more precise. Species is more precise than all the above other categories. So, it is the lowest level of taxonomic hierarchy, and here the organisms are further categorized or they are distinguished based on the variations in their morphological differences. So, we had studied kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family and genus. So when I was talking about the kingdom Plantae, phylum Angiosperms, the family Solanaceae, and I told you these potato, brinjal and all belong to the genus Solanum because they share some characteristic features. Solanum. So the species, but even more precise, when you deeply observe the characters, you know that potato is completely different, brinjal is completely different. It is a tuber, potato, right? But brinjal is a fruit. So therefore, potato we can call it as Solanum tuberosum. Brinjal, Solanum melanogena. So that is how they differ. Potato, or if it is tomato also belongs to Solanaceae. But tomato, Solanum lycopersicon. So like that it differs. The best example which I have given here is Panthera leo and Panthera tigris. So they belong to carnivora and they are also canine. But Panthera leo, it is lion. Panthera leo is lion. Panthera tigris, it is tiger. Both belongs to the same family and the genus is Panthera, but in spite of them they have like a tiger, lion has a mane but tiger doesn't have a mane. Lion does not have stripes, tiger has stripes. There further if you observe the characteristics it is completely different. So that is why it is more precise in the species. So that is how the rank species is defined and it is the lowest level of classification in the taxonomic hierarchy or the taxonomy classification, system of classification. So this was about the different taxonomic categories and the taxonomic classification, wherein you studied about the kingdom, the phylum or division, the class, order, the family, the genus and the smallest level of classification, that is the species. So in the next coming session, we shall talk about the taxonomical aids. So in order to understand and study about the diverse or the different varieties of organisms that are present in this world or in this nature, we need certain aids or help in the form of books, in the form of libraries, that is herbarium libraries, in the form of books, in the form of zoological parks, botanical gardens, sanctuaries and all that. So how these taxonomical aids can be used to understand the plants and the animals better, we shall discuss in the next coming session. So I'll meet you in the next coming session. Until then, thank you.